So maybe you've traveled during this pandemic, maybe you haven't, but we have received calls and complaints about a lack of social distancing on the train cars at the airport.
Jennifer Kovaleski explains why DIA is letting it happen and how it's trying to fix it before the holiday rush.
In a world where social distancing has become the norm,
the doors are closing.
It's not always being practiced in one of the airport's tightest spaces.
There was not a lot of social distancing happening on the train.
You're looking at recent videos and photos taken by DIA travelers inside the train at the airport.
To all A gates.
It was definitely packed, a little bit closer than normal.
Welcome to Denver.
And despite this message from Denver's mayor,
it is now mandatory in Colorado that you wear a face covering in all public areas and physically distance from others.
Video after video shows passengers inches apart and nowhere near the 6 feet requirement for physical distancing.
All passengers, please exit.
After they get off and make the mad dash to the escalator, even passengers are heard reacting.
That was probably the worst it's been for social distancing.
Travelers like Darren McIntyre say it seems the airport is ignoring COVID safety precautions, while others, like Andrew Miller, call it a part of traveling.
If I'm putting myself in the position of traveling, I need to not expect to be able to maintain 6 feet from someone else.
We know that the trains are a point of concern.
It's Chris McLaughlin's job to make sure the trains are safe during the pandemic.
We certainly have seen the pictures too.
He's the airport's chief operating officer.
We take this very seriously.
McLaughlin says they recently moved employees who were riding the train to an off-site parking lot,
where they can take a bus directly out to the concourses and avoid the trains altogether.
The airport has also increased capacity and frequency of the trains. They're also encouraging passengers to walk to the gates from the A bridge whenever possible.
It keeps you socially distant and off the train system altogether.
As for why the airport isn't simply limiting capacity,
if we limit capacity in one area, then we actually hurt ourselves in another.
McLaughlin says if they stop people from getting on the train, it backs up to security. And if they stop people from going through security, the bottleneck happens at ticketing.
The best way for us to keep people safely flowing through this airport is to keep that river flowing.
Back on the train.
The doors are closing.
He says they've done the math, and the longest anyone can be on a single train is 5 minutes and 56 seconds to be exact.
So that's well below the CDC guidelines that are out there in terms of prolonged exposure.
We had to move away from, some people.
Michael Cullen came from Jacksonville, Florida, and while he agrees the train was pretty packed, he also provides a different perspective.
The train was a little bit tighter, but nothing compared to Florida.
The airport has also launched a new app. It's called Verifly. You can pre-book a limited capacity train up to 2 weeks in advance. We'll have much more on that coming up on Denver 7 News at 6 a.m. I'm Denver 7 investigator Jennifer Kovaleski.